What's better than peaches in the summer? Not much, unless it's dessert made with peaches. Join me as I make a peach cobbler. First, preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Now for the main part, the peaches. You're going to want to peel, pit, and thinly slice 8 peaches. If you've never had peaches before, you want them to be pretty tender to the touch. Take your peach open, and then you're going to want to cut around the pit. You want as little of that pit as possible. Okay, you're going to want to go a little thinner with these slices. These peaches were very juicy and very liquidy, which is a good sign. They were fresh. So now take a small or medium-sized bowl and get your peaches in there. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And then a 1/4 cup of white sugar. Then you need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. In my case, all I have is the sticks. Then you need an 1/8 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Then we need a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. Now if you have an actual lemon, that would taste better. But these bottles are pretty good. So a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. And then you need 2 teaspoons of fresh cornstarch. And cornstarch is just a thickener. It's used a lot of times for sauces and things like that. Okay, and it says toss the coat that. So I'm going to mix them all together, just lightly. Okay, now you're going to need a 2-quart casserole dish. Now pour this into a 2-quart baking dish. Now we're going to bake this in our preheated oven for 10 minutes while we prepare the next part of this recipe. So 10 minutes and let's work on the next part. Now in a larger bowl, do 1 cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, just like before, and a 1/4 cup of white sugar, just like before. Then we need a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now we need to cut in 6 tablespoons of cold butter, not softened. Cold. You typically use cold butter when cutting it. That means you're breaking it into small pieces and making it a coarse texture. You can do it with your hands, or if you have one of these marvelous devices known as a pastry blender, you can do that. Basically, you push down on it, you just repeat, and it breaks it into smaller and smaller pieces. When your butter's pretty well mixed in, take a 1/4 cup of boiling water, pour it in, and it says to mix it just until all mixed. So just until it all gets wet. which shouldn't take too long at all. As you can see, it's all starting to clump together. We don't want to overdo it. Just make sure you get up as much dryness as possible. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, the peaches mixture just came out of the oven after 10 minutes. And it says to drop spoonfuls of the butter mixture we just made onto it. Now we can mix a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of sugar and sprinkle it on top. For the sprinkling on top, do 3 tablespoons of white sugar. And a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. In my case, I kind of have to do it myself with the sticks. But a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 3 tablespoons of white sugar. And then we're going to sprinkle that on top. Once you have your cinnamon and sugar mixed together, just sprinkle it on. Alright, we're going to finish baking our peach cobbler for 30 minutes. So get your peach cobbler, put it in your oven, and in 30 minutes it'll be ready. Alright, now it's time to get out our cobbler, let it cool, and try a piece of delicious dessert. Looks good. Mine got a little blackened. I probably should have done it for a minute or 2 less, but it's still going to be tasty. Now the best part is trying a piece. Mine was still a little hot, hasn't settled completely, but I just couldn't resist. Perfect to put cobblers when they're nice and warm with a cold piece of ice cream. Really good. Super good. The peaches, nice and sweet. They were fresh. The crust on top gives it a nice consistency. And of course the ice cream just makes it great. So, if you want an amazing homemade peach cobbler, look no further.